Many call him the most confident man in football. Yet José Mourinho is far more than just self-assured. Known for his unstoppable drive, he is a European champion and one of football's most influential figures. But behind the unwavering ego is a man deeply connected to the game and to the emotions it stirs. Once, he was brought to tears on live television over the passing of his beloved dog, a rare glimpse into the softer side of a figure many love or despise. Today, we'll delve into the remarkable journey of José Mourinho, a man who became football's special one. Mourinho's passion for the sport was ingrained well before he was born, thanks to his father, Felix Mourinho, a goalkeeper who dedicated his life to the game. Felix played for Vitória de Setúbal and Belenenses, clocking in almost 300 professional matches. Even as a player, Felix began coaching, guiding teams up through the ranks. However, despite his successes, his achievements didn't protect him from the harsh realities of the sport. After promoting teams to the top level, his tenure ended abruptly, leaving a lasting mark on his young son, José. "I was 9 or 10, and my father was fired on Christmas Day," Mourinho recalled. It was a moment that taught him how unforgiving football could be. Rather than deterring him, these experiences fueled José's drive to follow his father's path. Like Felix, he started at Belenenses and later joined Rio Avenue. After some time, he realized his potential on the field was limited. He lacked the speed and power needed for top-tier play. So he pivoted, deciding to pursue coaching instead, a choice that would define his career. José's journey wasn't straightforward. Quitting business school on day one, he immersed himself in sports science. Taking on any role available, from assistant to scout, he steadily gained experience. His big break came in an unexpected form. When Bobby Robson was appointed coach at Sporting Lisbon, he needed a translator. Enter José, who not only translated but also brought insights and tactics to the table. Impressed, Robson took Mourinho with him to Porto, where his skills became more apparent. Robson even praised his tactical analyses as some of the best he'd ever seen, saying he'd hand me a report that was absolutely first-rate. Eventually, Robson's trust in Mourinho grew, and he promoted him to assistant coach. Together, they won 2 league titles and several domestic cups, reaching the Champions League semifinals. Their next chapter together was at FC Barcelona, where Mourinho initially faced resistance. Many viewed his roles as a translator and assistant coach as incompatible. Nevertheless, Mourinho's tactical acumen shone through, and he quickly became indispensable to the team. During this time, he also worked with Pep Guardiola, though their future rivalry was still a distant prospect. When Robson departed, Mourinho stayed under the new coach, Louis van Gaal, assisting with opponent analysis. However, his ambition drove him to seek a head coach role, which he landed with Benfica in 2000. Unfortunately, political shifts led to his dismissal after only 9 games. Undeterred, he moved to União de Leiria, where he proved his ability by taking the team to 5th place. In 2002, Porto came calling, and Mourinho began a transformative journey. After an initial 3rd-place finish, he dominated the following season, winning the league, the Portuguese Cup, and the UEFA Europa League, an unprecedented treble. But his crowning achievement came in 2004, when he led Porto to a 3-0 victory over Monaco in the Champions League final. However, the moment fans truly remember was his run along the Old Trafford touchline after Porto's dramatic win over Manchester United. This victory solidified Mourinho's reputation and foreshadowed his future success. With a clean sweep of trophies in Portugal, Mourinho set his sights on a new challenge abroad. As his contract with Porto concluded, the next stage of his storied career was about to begin. When José Mourinho made his move to London, joining Chelsea Football Club, he marked a milestone as the Premier League's first Portuguese manager, and he certainly arrived in style. His introductory press conference quickly became iconic in the football world. In his debut season, he led Chelsea to victory in the League Cup with a thrilling 3-2 win over Liverpool. His reaction during the match, silencing the crowd with a finger to his lips, gave the English media its first taste of his unique style. Liverpool fans taunted him when they led, but they didn't realize who they were provoking. Mourinho's Champions League journey with Chelsea further highlighted his daring spirit. In a quarterfinal against Bayern Munich, Mourinho was banned from the stadium for prior altercations against Barcelona. Yet, he sneaked into the dressing room 7 hours before the game, delivered his team talk, and later left in a laundry basket. Classic Mourinho. Though Chelsea's European journey ended when Liverpool controversially knocked them out in the semi-finals with Luis Garcia's debated goal, Mourinho's triumphs continued. He guided Chelsea to their first English Premier League title in 50 years, building a formidable squad featuring stars like Drogba, Lampard, and Terry. Chelsea's defense set a record that season, conceding only 15 goals, a mark that endures today. Mourinho's impact in England was undeniable. Chelsea opened the next season with a Community Shield win over Arsenal and went on to defend their Premier League title. His victory over Manchester United, capped with a 3-0 win, saw him toss his blazer and medals into the crowd, a testament to his connection with the club. Besides back-to-back league titles, Mourinho added both the League Cup and the FA Cup to his accolades, defeating Arsenal and Manchester United. England was under Mourinho's rule, and he had won every major domestic honor. However, his journey took an unexpected twist with an incident involving his family's Yorkshire Terrier. When officials sought to place the dog in quarantine for lacking necessary vaccinations, Mourinho's protective instinct kicked in. The dog was small, the kids loved it, he recalled. Hiding the dog in a backpack, he escaped out the window, only to face obstruction charges. Fans rallied to free the dog, solidifying the family-like bond between Mourinho and Chelsea supporters. But as his third season began, cracks appeared in his relationship with Chelsea's hierarchy, particularly with owner Roman Abramovich. By mutual agreement, Mourinho departed, leaving a legacy at Stamford Bridge. Surprisingly, his next prospect seemed to be Barcelona. Mourinho pitched his vision for the team in a lengthy meeting with the board, covering the squad's strengths and potential changes. However, he later claimed he turned down the job, while rumors suggested Johan Cruyff discouraged the board, favoring the untested Pep Guardiola. This moment sparked the legendary rivalry between Mourinho and Guardiola, setting the stage for future confrontations. Seeking new horizons, Mourinho headed to Italy, joining Inter Milan. His debut season saw him win the Italian Super Cup and the Serie A title, but Inter's Champions League struggles dampened fan spirits. With rivals AC Milan thriving in Europe, Inter fans craved international success. Mourinho took the opportunity to reshape the squad, bringing in stars like Diego Milito, Wesley Sneijder, and Samuel Eto'o, who arrived in a swap deal with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. This move proved pivotal, as Eto'o completed the puzzle Mourinho was building. The revamped Inter squad achieved the unimaginable, winning the treble by conquering Serie A, the Coppa Italia, and the Champions League, a historic feat that etched Mourinho's name in the annals of football. Despite Mourinho's domestic triumphs at Inter, some fans remained skeptical until they saw his squad shine in the Champions League's final stages. The moment of validation came when Inter triumphed in Europe, defeating Bayern Munich 2-0 in the final and ending nearly 6 decades of waiting for the prestigious title. Mourinho celebrated his second UEFA Champions League win, but it wasn't the final that defined his legacy. In the semi-finals, Inter clashed with Barcelona, managed by Pep Guardiola and powered by a prime Lionel Messi. The tension was palpable, especially given Mourinho's lingering frustration from a controversial 2006 knockout loss, where accusations of diving had swirled around Messi. Yet this time, Mourinho's strategy caught Barcelona off guard, with a 3-1 win at San Siro followed by a narrow 1-0 defeat at Camp Nou, sealing Inter's path to the final. Mourinho's jubilant sprint across the Camp Nou was as memorable as the victory itself. Even as Inter fans celebrated, Mourinho hinted that it might be his last game with the club. His sadness was short-lived, however, as Real Madrid soon came calling, offering a record-breaking compensation fee to secure his services. The mission was clear: halt Barcelona's dominance under Guardiola, but the rivalry began on a sour note, with Real Madrid suffering a humiliating 5-0 defeat in Mourinho's first El Clasico. It was one of the heaviest defeats of his career, and Florentino Perez, Real Madrid's president, called it a dark day for the club. Mourinho, unfazed, made a pointed remark: suggesting he would be embarrassed to win a Champions League title the way Guardiola had in 2009. What followed was an unparalleled series of clashes. Between La Liga, the Copa del Rey final, and the Champions League semi-finals, Barcelona and Real Madrid met 4 times in just 18 days. These matches weren't just about teams. They were about Mourinho versus Guardiola and Ronaldo versus Messi, elevating El Clasico to global spectacle status. While Barcelona claimed La Liga and the Champions League, Madrid salvaged pride with a Copa del Rey win. Yet, Mourinho's time in Madrid was more turbulent than his previous tenures. Infamously, he poked Barcelona assistant Tito Villanova's eye during the Spanish Super Cup in 2011, a moment that highlighted Mourinho's combative side. Controversies extended beyond rivalries. Rumors emerged that he urged Mesut Ozil to break up with his girlfriend, allegedly telling the player, "Let me give you some advice, like a father. This girl you're with has been around everyone at Inter and AC Milan." Ozil reportedly ended the relationship soon after. Mourinho's confrontational style also targeted his own players, and his sarcastic comparisons left some, like Pedro Leon, on the outside looking in. After 3 incident-filled years, Mourinho's departure from Real Madrid became inevitable. Perhaps the most notorious episode came after a Champions League match against Barcelona in 2012, where Madrid was eliminated after controversial refereeing decisions. After the final whistle, Mourinho stormed into the referee's parking area, accusing Fernando Teixeira of being biased. Tensions nearly boiled over, but the confrontation stopped short of physicality. Mourinho's frustration was somewhat understandable. Madrid's comeback hopes were dashed by calls that denied them a penalty and an equalizing goal, and Teixeira's decision to end the game before a final free kick left Mourinho incensed. But Mourinho's antics didn't end with referees. Known for his tactical ingenuity, he also displayed a knack for bending rules. During a Champions League group match against Ajax, Mourinho instructed his players Xabi Alonso and Sergio Ramos to get intentionally sent off. With Madrid's spot in the round of 16 already secure, Mourinho wanted his players' yellow cards reset. Ramos even shook the referee's hand on his way off, almost as if he was grateful for receiving a second yellow card. UEFA launched an investigation into the incident and, unsurprisingly, found all parties involved guilty. Penalties followed. Alonso and Ramos were fined €20,000 each. Iker Casillas received a €10,000 fine, and substitute goalkeeper Jerzy Dudek was fined €5,000. Real Madrid was also fined €120,000, with Mourinho himself facing suspension. Despite the financial hit, Real Madrid got the outcome they wanted. Mourinho's key players would head into the knockout stage with a clean slate. Mourinho arrived at Real Madrid following his Champions League success with Inter Milan, with expectations sky high. Over 3 seasons, he secured a La Liga title, a Copa del Rey, and the Spanish Super Cup, but European glory eluded him, and he eventually moved on. Yet Mourinho left his mark in a different way. By constantly engaging with Guardiola, he managed to shake up the Barcelona camp. Guardiola, visibly frustrated after their encounters, stepped down from his role soon after. Mourinho had achieved part of his mission, destabilizing Barcelona. Then came the call from London. In 2013, 6 years after his departure, Mourinho returned to Chelsea, bringing with him the same sharp personality but with added experience. His first season back was trophy-less, but it was far from quiet. During a 1-0 defeat to Crystal Palace, Mourinho told the ball boy, who was taking his time returning the ball, that he might get punched for such antics one day. Caught on camera, Mourinho later explained in a press conference, "I told him one day, if he does that, someone might hit him." The remark referred to an incident with Eden Hazard the previous year, when the Belgian was penalized for kicking a ball boy who had delayed the game. No disciplinary action followed, leaving Mourinho feeling emboldened. But that was just the beginning. In 2014, a high-profile confrontation between Mourinho and Arsenal's Arsene Wenger erupted on the touchline during a heated London derby. Mourinho, who had previously labeled Wenger a specialist in failure, had stirred Wenger's frustration. During the game, Wenger shoved Mourinho, prompting a brief physical standoff. Though the two were separated quickly, the altercation became yet another chapter in their rivalry. Mourinho's second season was more successful, with Chelsea winning the Premier League and the League Cup. However, tensions resurfaced with his old rival, Rafa Benitez, after Benitez's wife claimed her husband had cleaned up Mourinho's messes at Chelsea, Inter, and Real Madrid. Mourinho fired back. "The lady is confused. Her husband replaced Roberto Di Matteo at Chelsea and Carlo Ancelotti at Madrid. The only place he replaced me was Inter, where he destroyed the best team in Europe in 6 months." Not content with this jab, Mourinho then made a dig about Rafa's weight, advising Benitez's wife to focus on her husband's diet. The exchange added fuel to the ongoing rivalry, but also attracted criticism for its personal nature. Chelsea's Premier League win seemed to signal the start of another golden era, but the 2015-16 season started with a controversial incident involving team Dr. Eva Carneiro. During a draw with Swansea, Carneiro rushed onto the field to treat Eden Hazard, leaving Chelsea temporarily down to 8 outfield players. Mourinho was incensed, later saying, "If you're on the medical team, you have to understand the game. You don't run onto the pitch unless the player is seriously hurt." Carneiro was subsequently sidelined from match duties and later resigned, filing a legal claim against the club. Mourinho's handling of the situation drew widespread criticism. Although Chelsea offered a settlement, Carneiro rejected it, and the case was eventually settled out of court. By then, Mourinho had also left Chelsea, departing in December 2015. After parting ways with Chelsea for good, Mourinho didn't stay away from the Premier League for long. He soon joined Manchester United for the 2016-17 season, aiming to restore the team's former glory. Although controversies surfaced, Mourinho guided United to their most successful period since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement, with more titles than any other United manager post-Ferguson. Domestically, he led them to win the League Cup and the Community Shield, and his second season saw a strong second-place finish in the Premier League, United's best league performance in a decade. In his first season, he also brought international success by winning the Europa League, United's first European title since 2008. With players like David De Gea and Sergio Romero alternating duties, and a defense anchored by Antonio Valencia, the team had a solid foundation. Paul Pogba commanded the midfield alongside Marouane Fellaini and Ander Herrera, while attackers like Marcus Rashford, Wayne Rooney, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic rounded out a balanced squad. It seemed Mourinho was on his way to becoming a United legend. However, tensions in the dressing room soon disrupted the harmony. As had happened before, his management style clashed with some senior players. The relationship between Mourinho and Pogba soured after the Frenchman, recovering from an injury in Miami, accused Mourinho of questioning his professionalism behind his back. Pogba explained, "He sent a picture to my agent while I was rehabbing in Miami. I didn't appreciate that." Their strained relationship eventually contributed to Mourinho's departure 6 months before his contract ended. But Mourinho didn't leave quietly. In a memorable press conference, he held up 3 fingers, symbolizing his 3 Premier League titles, and declared, "I have more Premier Leagues alone than the other 19 managers combined. 3 for me, and 2 for them. Respect." After leaving United, Mourinho spent a year away from the pitch before taking on a role that shocked many Chelsea fans, managing Tottenham Hotspur. During his 15 months with Spurs, Mourinho became the star of the club's Amazon documentary, which revealed his unique approach to motivating players. In a memorable scene, he told the team, "You're all very nice guys, but for 90 minutes, we need to be tough, smart, and ruthless." Fans also saw his softer side when he became emotional talking about his late dog. In terms of on-field performance, Mourinho faced mixed results with Tottenham. Despite some memorable moments, such as gifting Sergio Reguilon a Christmas ham, he struggled with inconsistent performances and tension over tactics, particularly around his preference for a counter-attacking style. He even offered advice to Dele Alli, urging him to maintain consistency if he wanted to become a top player. Despite these challenges, Mourinho led Spurs to the League Cup final, but club president Daniel Levy dismissed him just days before the match, which Spurs subsequently lost. Mourinho's next challenge came with his Roma, a surprising choice given their mid-table struggles and lack of silverware since 2008. But Mourinho quickly revived the club's ambitions, transforming a pessimistic atmosphere into one of hope. He led Roma to a 6th-place Serie A finish and secured the inaugural Europa Conference League title, marking Roma's first European trophy in 50 years. Mourinho, visibly emotional, celebrated this milestone by becoming the first manager to complete the UEFA treble, with Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League titles across different teams. He even commemorated the achievement with a tattoo of all three trophies. Mourinho's legacy continues to evolve, reminding fans and critics alike of his resilience and enduring impact on the sport. No matter what he does next, there's no doubt it will be captivating to watch. Over time, many have come to see Mourinho not just as a larger-than-life personality, but as one of the most influential and respected figures in football. "I'm the special one," he once proclaimed, and he has indeed lived up to the title. And that's José Mourinho, the special one, the mastermind, and the maverick of modern football. Whether he's lifting trophies, igniting rivalries, or inspiring his players, Mourinho has left an undeniable mark on the game. Love him or hate him, his influence on football is unmatched, and his story is far from over. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Mourinho's remarkable career, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories of football's greatest legends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.